Hello, welcome to Breakfast All Day. That's Christy Lemire.
Hi.
I'm Matt Atchity. We are going to talk about a movie that opened up last week called The Mountain. It stars Jeff Goldblum, Ty Sheridan. You want to tell us about it?
Jeff Goldblum is a traveling lobotomist in 1950s America.
I can't believe that was a job.
He is. Because, maybe you can't get to the place where the lobotomies occur, but you need one, or someone you love needs one. Jeff Goldblum is your man. And he is going from town to town, visiting different psychiatric institutes and performing lobotomies. This is in the 1950s, and the technology is very crude. And Ty Sheridan is sort of young and in need of direction or something. And he
Just like this movie.
Right. He becomes Jeff Goldblum's assistant and photographer. And so he will take a picture of somebody before the process has occurred and then afterward. And he sees some shit. And along the way, gets involved with a young woman who is also part of Jeff Goldblum's experimental work here. And there is just kind of this like numbing, nap-inducing sameness to the color palette. It's a lot of beige and brown and like muted green. Rick Alverson directed and co-wrote this, and he will hold a shot for a long, long time. And that is quite frequently a trait I am fond of in a director, that kind of like understated, restrained, just minimalist aesthetic. And there are some shots here that are pretty cool, that look like paintings.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just so freaking dull. Like I was so angry, and I was like, what is the point of this at the end of it?
Yeah, I felt like the way this movie is shot looks like Alverson studied all of the works of Stanley Kubrick and wanted to shoot a movie just like that without learning anything about what Kubrick did to actually make a movie interesting or tense or even enjoyable.
What is Kubrickian here?
Well, like you said, these long shots, but they're also oftentimes squared off, and it's looking down a hallway. There's a distance between the subject and the camera. There's not a lot, there's not close-ups necessarily the way you'd see in a lot of other movies. People will stand on screen and just stand there and not do anything. It all looks very posed. And again, nothing happens. Or very little happens.
Well, and then all of a sudden something happens.
Well, but also, like, there's no... The thing about Ty Sheridan, like, he's such a blank slate in this movie. First of all, I think these guys are... I don't want to say miscast so much as they're misused, right? What I think Alverson's doing with Sheridan, who can do interesting stuff, and Goldblum, who is a bundle of energy, like, he's so... It's almost as if Goldblum has been put in a straitjacket and gagged. Like he doesn't get to do anything in this. And I think it really pulls away. I think it does him a disservice.
Part of it was kind of exciting to see Jeff Goldblum do drama again. I was excited at the outset of this, like, oh, this is something different for him. And he still brings that kind of off-kilter sense of humor to it, but in very muted ways.
Yeah, and, you never really get a sense of what, Sheridan's character kind of just floats along in this movie. And there's no there. And so as things happen, it's like, well, why? And honestly, like after, you never really notice a difference, right? And yeah, I really didn't like this movie. And then there's this whole thing with the girl's father, this French actor.
Denis Lavant, who was in Holy Motors. If you guys have seen Holy Motors, right. Leos Carax.
And he gets this whole crazy monologue, and it's like, what? Where did this come from?
He's like drunk and angry and like ranting in a mixture of French and English.
And it's like he walks
Why?
And he comes, and we say this a bunch. This dude not only comes in from a different movie, like he comes in from a different reality. And it's like, it's almost as if like he might as well be the hallucination that every other mental patient in this movie is hallucinating.
I just like wonder what is that purpose? Like, is he just trying to shock us? Like, it becomes laughable. Like, I found myself laughing at it because it's so ridiculous and so over the top.
This movie, like, it's,
why?
Right? Who knows?
It keeps going.
And it keeps going, and it's just tedious, and it doesn't have anything to say. And it like the idea, the closest we get to anything to say is, or anything interesting, is that one of the things that Goldblum's character is struggling with is he goes to this one particular hospital and they tell him, oh yeah, we're not doing this anymore. We've realized that this actually isn't the thing we want to do. And so he's kind of staring down the barrel of not having a career anymore because the thing he's good at, people are starting to realize is awful, and he won't admit that, and he doesn't believe that. But there's a rich vein to be mined of, 50s era mental health treatments. And this doesn't do anything for us.
It's very superficial
It's
in that
very
regard. I
superficial.
agree. Yeah, I mean, he is pretty steadfast and pretty much a believer in this procedure that he's going around administering. But yeah, I don't know that it necessarily questions the moral or ethical reasoning behind that. It's not good.
You could do it. You could do what this movie does in about 20 minutes, right? In that, like, the way it shows some characters that there's hardly any difference before and after. Like, okay, you can do that in 10 minutes.
I kind of wonder whether the film is intending to make us feel as if we too have been lobotomized.
I would rather have a bottle in front of me, as the old joke goes, than watch this movie again about frontal lobotomy.
Do you think they're trying to put us in that mindset? Is that why it's so just like, it's like swimming through cotton balls?
I have no idea.
Do you think it's trying to make us sympathize with them? I don't know.
I think there's other movies that get you immersive in, inside of the head of somebody who has issues, right? And this movie does not.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not good. But we are here to tell you that. My number's a 3.5.
That's too high. It's 2.5.
Okay, our number's a 3. It's a 64% on the tomato meter.
What's wrong with people?
I think there's probably a lot of like 2.5 people who people are fans of Jeff Goldblum, and who isn't. He's a fascinating screen presence, fascinating figure. But
Go watch Earth Girls Are Easy.
As you
instead.
say, let's let him do more than what he gets to do here.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. You can follow us at Be Fast All Day on Twitter and Instagram, and where else? Facebook.
All the places.
You can join our Patreon and get member-exclusive content, which includes TV recaps and trailer reactions. We're going to do some big trailers this week. So thank you for watching, and tell your friends how awesome we are, and join us for breakfast again. Thank you.
Bye.